Hello, post-university Eagles Nation. Welcome into the ECAC Overwatch quarterfinals. With me tonight is JuggleGod, the one and only, gonna help us take us through the quarterfinal match, post-university versus Capital Tech. How you doing tonight, Juggle?
I am so excited to be back. I, took a break for a couple weeks, missed a few of them, so happy to be here, happy to be casting alongside you as well. Can't wait to see what the Eagles have in store for us tonight. Of course, starting on Lijiang Tower like you do. And this, I think, is going to be a very interesting match for Post University. I think this is, we are in the playoffs now. It is do or die time. The mistakes, there can be a few, but they need to be few and far between.
Yeah, that's right. Capital Tech coming in. He has a 12th seed tonight. Post University Eagles, the number 4 seed here in the top 8 round. Let's see what these Eagles can do as the point unlocks just now. We got a 1 kill coming out from Multikel, 1 kill from Cabar. It's a 4v4 on the point right now with Chewy on the outskirts on the Pharah. Post trying to take down this Monkey's getting quite low. Xery with a kill onto Vero. And it looks like this first fight may be going Capital Tech's way as Chewy disengages.
Yeah, I think there was an early boot there from the Lucio Kamar on the side. Oh, that's a huge exit pick. All right, forget what I was saying before. Chewy getting that pick onto the main tank is going to be massive because the rest of the team has respawned. They're going to try and push this point really quickly. Look for Post University to cap this pretty fast.
Yeah, Monkey is already back though for Capital Tech, so it will be a clean 5v5 here as Chewy trying to get some poke damage down before the start of this fight. Gets taken down fairly low though, tries to get the boot, but that's a Genji. He'll be able to get back no problem. So we switch over to POV to Moridin on the Reaper. Good swap here to try to deal with this Monkey. As Post has retaken control of the point and is now ticking up past Capital Tech. So Capital Tech gonna have to win a clean fight here. Chewy with the Rocket Barrage available. He's sneaking around behind them. Juggle, let's see what he's able to accomplish here with this ultimate online. And he's just gonna go straight for the Sojourn and take him down the solo ult, but it's a 1-for-1 as Scooter Matchin gets KingJackson on the back end of that fight. So 4v4 still on the point. But Moridin has not much to say about that. Beat goes down here for Capital Tech, but Moridin can't getting through the shields there. Xery getting very low, trying to disengage. Post is not going to let him as Multikel takes him down. Now Post ticking up past 50%. Capital Tech starting to sweat a little bit here, Juggle.
Yes, they are. And I want to go back to that barrage that Chewy had because Chewy went after the exact right target, right? You need to get that Sojourn out of the equation if you're going to pop something, especially like a barrage. You're a sitting duck out there in the air. So perfect play right there. The rest of the team managed to hold things down on point. Big support ults coming up here.
Yep, double Kitsune rush. Everybody's going to be firing quick now. Multikel also has the ultimate online. Let's see if he decides to pop it here. Everyone getting very low. Moridin with a pick, all ready to get started. Here comes Chewy with another one, and Multikel going to hold on to the Junker Queen ult here and prep for this last fight as some great staggers come out for Post now, and they are in full control heading into this final team fight.
I mentioned Jihad earlier on the Sojourn. That's going to be the player that we really need to watch out for Post University. Jihad has the ultimate, the only one for the opposing squad. Look for this very quick Death Blossom right here coming out from Moridin.
Yep. He has revealed his position here, but Multikill already with a kill onto Jihad at the start of this one. They do get the touch and overtime ticking down. But it's Capital Tech really scrambling just to even get on the point, and that's not going to happen. 3 kills there. Xery, the last remaining. He will fall as well, and it's going to be a 100 to 18%. 0.1 Post University take. You're on Lijiang.
Post University did such a wonderful job with their target priority that round. I think that, to me, that was the story, right? They knew exactly who they needed to go after. Clearly, the ults were being tracked in comms, right? They knew Jihad was the person they needed to take out. Honestly, in most of the first fights, right? Or rather, taken out first in most of the fights. Now, we're going to be moving to Gardens here. This is going to be another really good one for Chewy on the far out, which is great to see, right? I feel like the Chewy bar is one that we don't get to see too often, but really kind of rolled it perfect to play Pharah here. These are the first 2 maps you want to see that Pharah on. In addition, Multikel on the Junker Queen is doing a great job too, right? Running over the opposing team. Might be a little bit harder going up against the Ramatra here, but I think Multikel is still going to be able to get it done.
Yeah, I like that Post is just kind of sticking to their guns here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. As Multikel already finding a pick on Xeri to start this one off. It's a 5v4 right off the rip here. Advantage Post University. Now chewy just able to pelt the entire Capital Tech team through this choke point as they're trying to advance onto the point. Going for the boop and doesn't quite find it. I thought he had it. Getting these direct shots onto the Ramatra. Lucio going down very low as well, but no more kills quite yet. Skoder Matcha does find chewy though. And this is looking good for Capital Tech as no team has capped the point yet. Xeri gets another one there. Kabar with one for themselves, and this is going to be a pretty clean fight win for Capital Tech.
Yeah, really nice job from them, just staying the point and not panicking, right? They went down early in the fight, but they did the smart thing. They kind of backed off. They kept a little bit of point presence to make sure that they didn't turn it over to Post University. Then they were back full strength. They kind of capitalized on the fact that chewy just didn't really move during that. He knew exactly where he was, took him out, and then the rest was just clean up. Post University here gonna approach from White Room.
Oh, Xeri just falls off the map here. This is a big opening for the Eagles as Multikel gonna push in onto the point in the 5v4, but they've got to deal with the entire Chargers team is holding down this point. Great boop kill by chewy onto Jihad, and this may spell defeat for Capital Tech here in this mid-game fight, Juggle.
Yeah, great opening pick there, right, from Post University, giving themselves an advantage right off the bat. Multikel also hitting so many effective knives, doing a great job kind of keeping that Ramatra in play when the Ramatra wanted to back off, right? So a lot of resources had to be expended not just by the Ramatra, but by the support too, which meant that there wasn't enough to go around for the rest of the squad, thus getting picked. Right now, though, we're looking at 5 ultimates on board for each team.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, it's looking like it's gonna be a 10 ultimate fight coming in here. There's Kitsune Rush coming out for Vero and the Post University Eagles. There's the counter Kitsune Rush. Everybody on the point now. Moridin falls to be the first kill. Vero somehow escapes, but chewy with the double kill from the barrage is gonna save this fight for the Eagles. Here comes the annihilation coming out from Skoder Matchin, though. Gets 3 in return. Xeri with 1 health, trying to survive. Moridin respawning first, and that was an extremely close fight, but it will go in favor of Capital Tech. But Post University gets 40% on the board.
And I think something that's key here as well, Moridin, the only player left standing with an ultimate. That was a 9-ult fight.
Yep,
right
9-ult
there, right?
fight. Yep.
Both teams expended a lot, and honestly, I feel like it was an overcommit from both sides. But at least Moridin saw what was happening, knew they needed to hold on to this. Ooh, early pick though. That could be Post wants to slow down here.
Yeah, let's see what they decide to do. They'll need to get a kill quickly here if they want to try to fight this one. But it doesn't look like it's happening quite yet, and they may look to just kind of try to stall this one out.
Ooh.
Until chewy returns. But Moridin still holding on to this death block, and this is going to be so key heading into this next full-on engagement. He's looking for the TP behind, but Multikel falls. He's going to pop the Death Blossom anyways, gets 1, but will it be enough? Xeri falls to Vero and Moridin. These Post University Eagles are still winning the fight despite having no tank. Chewy with the kill onto the Lucio, and somehow these Eagles are coming away the victors in this fight. Skoder, the last player left on the point. Overtime ticking down, but Post will capture the point back. And now they'll have to play pretty perfectly through the rest of this one in order to come out with a W.
What resilience, honestly, we've seen from both of these teams on this map in particular, right? Got to give big credit there to Skoder, man, right? Through that shield forward, Multikel wasn't able to get the kills from the team. That's why we saw him go down so quick. But then the rest of the team rallied and knew what they had to do. They got the picks quick. Moridin said, it's time to go, and go is exactly what they did. Now 3 ultimates on board for Post University, but they got to get through this first.
There's just a duel in midair, and chewy takes out Jihad. That was insane. Gets the air-to-air fight. He's still got Barrage online. There's another kill from Multikel. Annihilation coming out for Skoder. Beat drop goes down as well from Kebar. Here comes the Barrage. Gets 2 more for chewy, and that may spell the end for Capital Tech, but it's not quite final fight territory yet, Juggle. 84%, 85 now for Post. Capital Tech may have 1 more fight in them if they're able to touch in time.
Yeah, this is going to be scuffed for them, to say the least. They need to get somebody on point. Look for it to be Lucio. Yep, we do get the Lucio touch, but they're in there early.
Oh, he was early. Oh, they do get the touch, though. Overtime ticking down. Here comes Xterry. Gets annihilated by Chewy. Direct rocket hit. There's another kill for Moridin. Now overtime ticking down. Who is going to make the hero play from Capital Tech, or will Post hold on? Overtime ticking down. The last 2 kills go over. And Lucio cannot touch the point, and it's a 2-0 for Post in map 1.
Oh my gosh. What a wonderful way to honestly see the accuracy of Chewy with these rockets. I mean, he was hitting shots that I was absolutely not expecting to see be direct. I mean, you called out several, right?
Yeah.
And that last heads-up play there through that window, just recognizing that, yeah, Lucio's going to be the one to get the touch. Got to get to that window. And then pushing them out of the way so they didn't even get that touch. Tremendous play coming out from everybody. But I mean,
yeah,
honestly,
sure.
I feel like Chewy did a lot of phenomenal work there on that map.
Oh, I especially loved the Chewy versus Emre duel right at the end there in midair. He with ultimate online for Chewy, but he doesn't pop it. He saves it for the ending team fight and knows that he can just win the duel in midair against the ulting Emre. That was just phenomenal. That, for anyone who doesn't play Overwatch that's watching right now, that is incredibly, incredibly difficult because you're firing these extremely slow-moving rockets and you don't have the benefit of being able to hit it off the floor or nearby a wall because you're in midair. You have to get a direct hit, and that was just insane level of skill coming out from Chewy in that last fight.
It really was. I would have never gone for that. I mean, when I saw Chewy doing that, I was like, well, that might be a little greedy. But it's only greedy if you don't do it.
I mean,
you know?
you do need a certain... We're in the playoffs here, Jugglers. Do or die. You need a certain level of confidence and swagger to come in, and when you have the just confidence to go in for that super high skill play and it works out, that's just going to do so much for you and the team's confidence going into the rest of this series. So I'm going to update the match score real quick before I forget. Boop.
Yeah, no,
all right, we're going back to cams. Yeah, we're going to get started with map 2 in just a minute. I'm going to go to the bracket here so you guys can all see. So Post as the number 4 seed tonight, taking on the Capital Tech Chargers, number 12 seed. Was a little quick on the intro before the first map, but I didn't want to miss any of the action, so didn't get a chance to kind of talk about this before the game started. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now. Big news from round 1 playoffs was William and Mary JV took down Kaiser University, the 14 seed taking down the 3 seed. Down at the bottom of the bracket there. That's the biggest upset that we've seen in any ECAC Overwatch playoff division so far this season. So that huge props to them. And then also our matchup was decided by a Chargers forfeit win over MCCC. That's why you see the 1-0 win. That's a forfeit win. So Chargers coming in. This is going to be their first playoff game. So might have the kind of early playoff jitters maybe coming out here, Juggle, because they did not play in round 1.
Yeah, you know, there's something to be said for really getting to play incredibly consistently, especially in a competitive nature, right? You know, you can be scrimming, you can be playing comp, you can be working with your team, right? But nothing's really going to take the place of those actual games where there's something on the line, right? And I feel like sometimes you see that when teams get like a bye in a round, you know, maybe they perform so well, and there's an odd number of teams, you know, they get to go through one. Sometimes it could be a mixed bag, right? And certainly here, I think that could be the case. Now, looks like we do have our next map pick. It is going to be Suravasa, and Farah got banned. That's fair. Got a little burned right there, so that makes sense. And Suravasa as well has a lot of. I feel like there's a lot of similarities to Lijiang Tower in terms of how the points are constructed, right? There's they're kind of enclosed, a lot of them, but with windows, gaps where you can. That's what you want on Farah, right? You want to be able to shoot in through a gap and then also have that natural cover that you can duck behind somewhere high in the air. Most of these points gonna have something like that, right? Now this is interesting though to me too, because I feel like the Chargers did just get out-brawled, right? And we are going to another map that really is kind of, this map is, its bread and butter is brawl. So a lot of times, you know, when I'm looking to a team and saying like, okay, what do they need to do, right, to come back from this? Because it's all about adjustments in Overwatch, right? You take this map and you say, all right, what did we learn? What did we learn about their team? What did we learn about our team? How can we bend this in our favor, right? So part of me saying like, okay, Chargers probably feel very strong on Suravasa, but then on the other hand as well, it sounds like they're not ready to go off the brawl, right? They think that they can still do something good with a brawl here, and maybe it's just they need to be on a map that feels more like home turf to them. Um, but usually when I am looking at coming back from a map loss, I'm looking to put the team you just faced on a different composition, right? Let's start to poke. It's like the Velociraptor in Jurassic Park, right?
Yep.
Testing the fence. Let's test the fence. Let's see if they've got a dive. Let's see if they've got a poke, right? But the Chargers, in this case, they're saying no. We're sticking with brawl.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it, right? You do kind of want to stick to your guns to a certain amount in the playoffs here, right? Because, like, you're one of the top teams. You qualify for playoffs. You deserve to be here, right? Forfeit, win or no. Like, you were one of the top 16 teams that got into this bracket. So you want to do what got you here, right? You want to do what, like you said, your bread and butter, what got you to this point and what you're good at, right? There's certain things can be said for being adaptable and being able to kind of think on your feet and swap heroes when you need to. But I told the team before we went in tonight, I was like, listen, just don't overthink it tonight, right? Just press W, go in for those fights, just try to win, right? Or hold forward. We have a couple controller players, right? So hold forward, press W, exactly. Right? Whatever your flavor is, right? But
yeah.
And I think that is kind of what we saw. But, shout out to Capital Tech. They did win a few fights. They had some really good moments. Also, getting to 99% on point 2 is going to give them some confidence here heading into Saravasa as we are loading in right now.
I feel like it was almost even more than just getting to 90% on Lijiang Gardens, right? It's also the fact that they got, they took out Multikel, right? With just that beautiful shield placement from Skoder. I mean, that was a big heads-up play, right? And we did see the Chargers as well really understand, like, okay, when do we need to back off, right? That's the sign of a really good team, right? Is when they say, like, okay, we don't need to all go in there and die. One of us is down. Let's just back off for a second. We're gonna be back in the fight quicker if we just wait, right? So the Post University is certainly absolutely has to be playing at the top of their game tonight. But let's take a peek at what these different compositions are saying at the moment. Wonder who Chewy's going to swap to here. To Tracer. Okay, now that's going to be interesting. We're going to be, looking at the back line, right? I think it's going to be tough because are you going to go after Lucy? You're going to go after Kiriko, right? That decision I think is going to be really interesting to see. But big damage coming in for everybody already. Yeah,
Jihad gets the first kill of this fight onto KingJackson as we are now off and running here on Saravasa. Skoder gets the second. And I don't know if Chewy's going to be able to salvage this one. Post may have to retreat as 2 early kills going the way of Capital Tech.
Yeah, this is interesting. I'm not sure. I'm going to be curious to see if Chewy sticks with the Tracer, right? Chewy didn't get a lot of time to really try it out there. That was a pretty decisive quick fight win from the Chargers. So I think what Post University is going to have to do here is Jihad might need to be the target once again, right? Because we saw Jihad kind of opening things up for the Chargers. Usually you go for the sports, but in this case, they might need to get rid of the threat.
Evar getting pretty low here as this second fight has started. And Post forcing Capital Tech to really split up here. Multikel getting very low, though. Jihad gets the kill on Vero, and now Multikel's going to be without one of his main healers and will fall. And it looks like this second fight will also go the way of Capital Tech.
Yeah, so I think what we're definitely seeing here is Capital Tech. This is a comfort pick, right? Saravasa clearly a comfort pick. They know exactly what they're doing here. Great heads-up play from Post University to kind of take the point away from the Chargers. But again, I
didn't even see that.
The fact that the Chargers knew that they needed to, win the fight, give up the point. That's what you want to do, right? If it's between one or the other, you want to win the fight, and that's exactly
because you can always just take the point right back. No problem. But now we see Multikel and Vero fighting in a kind of 2v2 off on the side here against Jihad and Skoder. But Kabar has the beat drop available, getting taken very low. Does he pop it? Nope, he's going to hold on to it. For now, Moridin getting low, but Jihad takes down KingJackson. We have the Kitsune Rush online. Lots of ultimates coming down here for Capital Tech, and Post once again falling. And first point will go over to Capital Tech.
I think it was really wise that we saw, Vero and Multikel hold on to their ultimates, right? a lot of times with less experienced teams, I think you kind of see the panic hold come out when you're losing a fight. But they know they have to play the long game here. Now, the other thing is, though, that was a very economical fight win for the Chargers, right? So they need to figure out a way to play around this.
Beat drop comes down here for Kabar. Chewy trying to slice through it, but he's not going to do enough damage. Moridin almost to that ultimate. Not able to farm it up. Beat drop comes out very late from KingJackson and Post University there, and a couple ultimates to counter from Capital Tech, and it's going to be the third straight fight win for the Chargers.
Where's my team?
Yeah, Post University, I wonder if we're going to see any swaps coming out of here. No, it doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it yet. I feel like that was a little bit of an overcommit from Vero and KingJackson, right? But again, this time Moridin holding on. Well, didn't have the death blossom yet. That's going to be what they need to open up here. He is. The Chargers do not have any defensive ultimates here, so Moridin can get a way in. This could open it up for Post.
This could be it right here. Yep, there's the ultimate. Takes down one, but it's a 1-for-1 so far. Get a second from Moridin. Make it a third, and Post will finally win a fight here and be able to take back this second point, Juggle.
Yeah, huge play right now. Exactly what we needed to see Post University do. Now, let's take a moment and look at X3, right? X3 is going to have their ultimate on board for this fight. So again, Post University, they've done a great job tracking ultimates. They need to really make sure that they're keeping their eyes on them.
X3 taking the high ground here. Sees Moridin in no Wraith form. Chewy gets X3 off of the high ground though, and he needs to retreat and get some heals.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play right there.
Chewy getting taken very low. Stuck at 8 health, will finally fall. Multikel also not getting any heals there as he was kind of cut off from his healers. And the Chargers will take the point right back, but it's going to be about 60% on the board for Post, but the Chargers going to surpass that right now.
Yeah, the ult advantage is going to go to the Chargers once again. I feel like Post is having a bit of a hard time building their ultimates right now, so that could be another thing they just need to really figure out a way to do. And Chewy's really getting checked pretty hard, having a hard time finding a way in. So we just might need to see Chewy playing a little bit more. Oh, but it looks like they're going to try to
the counter ult. Yeah, it's a 1-for-1, and there's the ultimate from Multikel as well. Countered by the beat drop from Kabar as overtime now ticking on this second point. Annihilation comes out as well, but Skoder taking tons of damage, still somehow surviving on the point. Still has not gone down, will finally fall. X3 trades one back though. This is still up in the air, Juggle.
It absolutely is, because Skoder, what he did right there is he gave enough time for the rest of the team to get back, and the rest of the team is doing what they need to do.
And now Multikel is all alone on the point. Is somehow getting kills with Chewy though. Chewy trying to make it the hero play, but it's not going to happen, and Post going to need to reverse sweep here on Suravasa.
But I feel like that was a bit of a turning point for Post University, right? They were able to figure something out there, and I think one of the things you mentioned before is they needed to hold W and just go in, right? I think a lot of times we had seen the Chargers kind of act first, and a lot of times when you act first, you're going to take the fight. We saw Post University act first, especially in that penultimate fight, and that was a big part of why they won that. In addition, I think Vero was able to help the team build up the ultimate with that Kitsune rush. So now, Post University coming in with a beat drop, that's going to be huge. Post University is in the advantage here. They just got to watch out for X3.
Washing Moridin here, has the Death Blossom, looking for a good time to use it. There's the Wraith form, going in with the Death Blossom, and there's 3 already for Post. Skoder getting very low and will fall as well, and Post will take control of this point first on point number 3. KingJackson also crucially holding on to the beat drop.
Yeah, great play right there. I think actually had a hard time finding an opening, and in addition, more so than anything, Mora just saw the opportunity and took it, right? The team hadn't clocked him. Everybody was looking the other way. The front line was doing their job. Multikel was keeping them distracted, keeping them focused on him, and that's when Moridin struck. KingJackson still has the sound barrier too. This is great for Post.
Yeah, Multikel holding a front line here. There goes the beat drop, saving Multikel's life. Skoder getting very low. Moridin will take him out. Counter beat drop comes out from Kabar. Can Capital Tech win this 5v4 on the point? Vendetta getting very low. Kel will take them down. And now this is looking like a slow burn here for Post as they're going to chase the remaining 3 members of Capital Tech off of the point. And Capital Tech going to try to regroup for one last potential fight on this point number 3.
One of the things Post University is so good at is being adaptable, right? They've now got the tempo here. They're in control of these fights. They're controlling the timing of the engagement. Where the fights
Oh, there it is. No fight. We got it. They did not get the touch. And now it's going to be just kind of a brawl all over the place. Chewy will take down one. Jahad gets a trade back, though. As Chewy, I think he's just going to fall off here. Yeah, that's smart because now he'll be able to respawn closer to this last point since Capital Tech did not get that touch, so overtime did not tick down, and it's 2-1 now. If Post can get this next capture, then we'll be going to the deciding .5.
This is interesting right here because Vero's going to have... Vero has her ultimate, right? And we're usually going to see this as an initiation ultimate. Watch for this early on in this fight. Oh, big.
Ooh, huge kill from Multikel. Vero gets another one, and it's looking like, yep, Kabar will fall as well. And this is going to be a very clean, very raw fight here coming out from Post as they were not needing to contribute any ultimates there to get those kills. And that's going to be a completely free point take, and they still have almost all 5 of their ults online. KingJackson, the lowest at 86%.
And that's going to, you know, that'll be their mid-fight, right? That was great. That was a dry fight. Post was able to win it into neutral, which is absolutely huge. They needed that kind of swing kind of in the momentum. But, again, to the Chargers' credit, they didn't use any either. They saw the writing on the wall and they saved it. So we might be in store for another close fight here. Post University, though, really needs to be economical.
Yep. Oh, huge kills coming out, though, as Skoder goes down. Multikel getting another one, and you've got to think that Post is going to finish off this fight here with Capital Tech without a tank. Yep, there's another one for Moridin, another one for Multikel, and still Juggle holding on to 4. They only used Junker Queen ult there in that team fight, and were able to wipe. But Capital Tech didn't use any ults either, so this is going to be an extremely explosive final fight here on point 4.
Yeah, and again, you know, here's the thing though, is, okay,
double Kitsune Rush, Annihilation goes down, B-Drop goes down, everybody pressing Q. I'm looking at Moridin here. When's he gonna pop the Death Blossom? He's holding on to it, waiting for Annihilation to fall. There's 2 kills though for Post, they might not even need it. Moridin can hold on to it for .5, this is incredible. Juggle, what a fight from Multikel and this Post University team. We are tied up at 2 and going to a deciding .5.
No, this was actually perfect, right? Moridin wanted to hold on to that Blossom so that they have it to take this point, right? Because another thing that we haven't even talked about yet is a lot of times whoever captures the point first gotta win that point, right? So Post University knows this. They want to win that fight, but they're going up against 2 ultimates. Most crucially, they've got the sound barrier. They get that sound barrier out, that's going to give extra time to find good positioning and be able to click those heads. So Post University really needs to be careful here. They gotta play conservative, but they gotta get kills fast too.
Yeah, Kabar does have the B-Drop online, so I want to see the timing here. There it is. Oh, B-Drop goes down first. That's huge. Now Moridin, all he has to do is wait it out, and then he'll have a good Death Blossom angle here. There it is. 1. The rest of them scatter. X-Ray gets a kill, trade back, but Chewy is popping off in the back line, getting 1. Now just slicing and dicing through this tank. Skoder goes down. X-Ray goes down, Kabar goes down, and that is a team kill for Post University as they take control of .5.
And the old cycles are here now, right? The old cycles are here for Post University. It's exactly what we want to see. X-Ray, credit to them, they held on to their ultimate, right? But that's the only one they're really going to have online here, so there's still gas in the tank here for the Chargers, but the momentum certainly in Post University's favor. Look for them to build some ultimate here. We're probably going to see Multikel initiate this probably about a quarter of the way through the battle.
Good. No, great knife, though, onto the Vendetta. Yeah, that could open the door here. Here comes the Junker Queen ult. 1 goes super low. Kiri falls. Make it a second. It's a 2-for-1 so far. Advantage Post. Everybody falling now, but still Advantage Post. Kel finally falls. Chewy still alive, but he's got to be coming back now. Capital Tech finally winning that fight somehow, some way, but 72% on the board for the Eagles.
Multikel played that beautifully, though. I do want to call that out because one of the big things that, like, Overwatch is such a fast-paced game, right? The big thing there is that the Kiriko Lance on the other, Lan Solo on the other side used the cleanse, which meant that they couldn't get rid of Multikel's ultimate. That's why they struck when they did. They just got outfought there.
So Post with a couple opportunities here to take this one back. Kitsune Rush online. There it goes. Vero popping it. X-Ray does get the kill onto Chewy, though. B-Drop comes down as well. Double B-Drop, but so much damage here coming out from this Post University squad. Can they take the point? 1-for-1 so far on the point. It's a 3v4, I think, on the point. Multikel and Vero trying to make the hero play, but it's not going to be enough as Jihad, Lanzo, and X3 finish off the job. And now Post is going to have to hustle to try to get the overtime and find this final fight.
Yeah, they just need to get the touch. It's going to be down to Moridin and probably KingJackson. They can get there. Moridin can get there. Oh, we got the touch from
With the
Chewy.
touch, but falls before he gets interrupted with the ult. Moridin falls as well, and this is looking bad for Post. Vero and KingJackson, the last supports remaining, they're not going to be able to touch, and that's going to do it. A 3-2 win for Capital Tech in Game 2.
Wow, what a nail biter. Honestly, that was just good Overwatch. That was just a lot of fun to see. I mean, a big shout out to the Charge up there. I mean, they had Post University shut out those first 2 maps, right? Now, one of my favorite things, again, about Post University this season has been seeing just how resilient they are, right? And we absolutely saw that. And a lot of times, too, you know, the game, every map has a start and stop, right? But the momentum that one team has versus the other is not so clearly defined, right? And I think what we saw there was Post University really get some momentum in the back end of that Suravasa map. They're going to be able to carry that over into whatever this map pick is. And given how close that map was as well, and the fact that Post University is going to get map pick here, I think we're going to, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a fairly decisive map win for Post University here. So my money is, you know, trying to theorize a little bit here. Where do we go next? Post University, you know, there's kind of the bread and butter of Overwatch in Lijiang Tower and King's Row, and I feel like Post University really recognizes that and plays to that advantage. And I think it's a good thing to do to be strong on this match because you're going to see them a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see King's Row come out. But we also have push to consider as well, and Post University has always looked strong on push. I've seen them look really good on New Queen Street. I've seen them look really good on Esperanza as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see one of those 2 come out too, because I think they're really going to want to stay on the brawl. That's just what Post does now.
Yeah, I don't recall what the next map type is supposed to be, but I know we also play a really good Rialto.
Map type order?
Yeah, it's got to go
have a really good Rialto.
Yeah, let me
actually,
check.
They do have a really good Rialto.
Let me check. I actually have the rulebook pulled up right here. Yeah. It's going to be Control, then... Oh, it's supposed to be Hybrid next?
Hybrid next.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Hybrid in Game 2.
Oh, it was. Okay, so that might be what we go back to. But you know, I think another thing we talk about is
no, it just says loser of previous map may pick from any map that is not a mode that has been previously played. So we've played Control and we've played Flashpoint, so that leaves Hybrid, Push, and Escort available. Yeah. So Kings Row, Midtown, and Bonnie for Hybrid, Esperanza, Runasapi, and New Queen Street for Push, and Gibraltar, Rialto, and Havana for Escort.
Yeah, I think if we go push, I would imagine we're going to see Esperanza. That's my guess. But Post just feels strong in most of those maps, I think. Let's talk a moment, though, about bans, right? Because I think Post University has an opportunity to... Okay, that's who I was going to say. Yeah. Ban Sojourn, right? X3 was just out of control on that map, right? And, ooh, they banned JQ. You know, the great thing about Multikel on tank is Multikel is so flexible. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised in... Oh, we are going King's Row. Yep, perfect. I feel like we're probably going to see the Ramatra come out. We've also seen the Zarya come out quite a bit from Multikel this season, too. So I think there's a couple of really good options for the squad. So I'm excited to see which direction they end up going. I think one of the strengths that you have with the Zarya pick in particular is if Chewy decides to stay on the Vendetta, then that bubble just makes Chewy that much more terrifying on Vendetta, right? You're not just in and out and hopefully get a pick. You're in, let's work this a while.
But another thing, too, is that King's Row is a pretty good map for Pharah, and they did not ban it. So they banned the Pharah for Suravasa. They banned Chewy's Pharah, and now banning the Junker Queen, that's going to leave the Pharah open if Chewy wants to play it here on King's Row.
That's true. That's especially true because the Sojourn got banned too, right? Because I mean, you know, the big thing about at least First Point of King's Row is snipers are strong there as well
Mm.
for both the attackers and the defenders. So if you are going to play Pharah, you want to be pretty sure that you don't have to go up against that many hit scan snipers in
Right.
particular. So that I think really could open Chewy up for the Pharah as well. The Soldier pick actually really gives the squad a lot of flexibility in what they pick in general.
Yeah, very true. Also want to shout out a couple people in chat. Big Spence is here.
Yeah.
Jake Hare. Thank you for also the gifted sub, Spence. Big Preach. Also, congrats on the semifinal win last night in Rocket League NECC. Big congrats. They'll be in the championship in the finals next Wednesday, so make sure to tune in for that. That's going to be next Wednesday at most likely 8 o'clock.
Fantastic.
We got a couple new chatters in here. Crash Out, what's up? Welcome in. I apologize. We are on a 3-minute delay, so any chat interaction is going to be a bit of a delay. But trust me, we're not that slow. We are we're just behind a couple minutes here from what is happening IRL. But we are going to take a couple minute break here. Post's going to call a timeout. Just use the bathroom, kind of collect themselves, and get a drink. And I would suggest you all do the same. Always want to stay hydrated, no matter if you're watching on Twitch or sweating it out in ranked or in your ECAC quarterfinal match. You always got to stay hydrated, right? So we'll be right back in about 3 minutes with map number 3. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back. Denny and JuggleGod have returned here for map number 3. We're heading to King's Row. Post University going to start on defense. Your thoughts here, Juggle, as we see the team comps coming out?
This is interesting. That's what I'm going to say right off the bat. This is a very brawly map, but Multikel has opted for a Sigma, which is kind of like your quintessential poke tank. But We also have chewy on the far out. Far can be is very strong as a poke hero as well. So I honestly feel like it's if Multikel needs to keep his distance, right, which might mean that Post University is going to need to give away 1 or 2 ticks in order to win these fights because they've got a Brig and Scooter back on the Ramatra, which means they're going to be holding W, and Post University needs to be able to keep that effective distance here.
Yeah. Sure. Capital Tech looping around. They want to try to flip the map here maybe or get all the way behind chewy up on this high ground. They do have Jihad on the Genji here, forcing him into the air. Good boop to get Brig down onto the low ground. But Jihad just soloing chewy almost. Lancer gets the last kill, or the last hit rather, and this is looking bad for Post as Jihad now uncontested on the point with chewy down. It's a 5v4. Multikel trying to do what he can on the Sigma, but falling very low and will get the heals he needs, at least for now. Kabar gets the kill onto Moridin, though, and that's going to be first point very quickly capped here by the Chargers.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like more than anything, that was a composition, a competitive right there. You know, Post University really running this boat composition, I think, is going to be challenging, right? It could be easier here in Street, but again, it's all going to be up to how effectively can Post University get these picks during rotations while still maintaining that effective distance and keeping Skoda from being able to push people just around the map.
Yeah, Post has got to find a way to deal with Kabar as well on the Brigitte. Like you said, they're going to get in, they're going to do a lot of damage and just go in for this full brawl style. Chewy needs to get some heals here. Finally does. Keeping his distance here from Jahar, but getting taken down very low so far. X3 winning this 1v1, takes down Chewy. That's a huge kill.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see some of the issues here, right? With running kind of this boat composition here, because Post University trying to win these fights, but they're having to back up. They have to stay away in order to get the picks they need. But that just means card progress for the Troops.
Beat drop and Kitsune, both support ultimates committed for this fight here. Skoda getting taken down low, taking a ton of damage, but it's not going to matter. That's going to be a clean team wipe in favor of the Capital Tech Chargers, and the payload's going to keep on rolling. 5.5 minutes, Juggle, for this last point.
Yeah, that is a huge time bank. You know, so many times I feel like this year we have seen Post University, you know, on the opposite side of where they are now, right? Rolling into third point with 5.5 minutes. So we still haven't seen any compositional swaps coming out here. Now this one is going to be a little bit more difficult for the rush. Big Kitsune rush coming out from the opposing squad, though.
Oof. And Post just cannot find anything on this map on defense. Multikel gonna get staggered a little bit. They might have time for 1, maybe 2 more fights if they win this next one. Moridin has the wall online. Chewy still with the barrage. But they've got to get out of spawn now, and they just have a Genji deflecting in their face. Wall comes down. Chewy trying to get in position, but just falls to X3. And Capital Tech just cannot be stopped right now. Multikel finds 1, but it's going to be too little too late. As 4:33 in the bank for Capital Tech.
Now, here's the silver lining, right? Is that Post University can do the exact same thing on attack, right? We've seen them do that so many times this season, and we did see Multikel eventually swap over to the Ramatra, and I think that was the right call. So I think it is kind of what you said, right? Too little, too late there at the end. I think those swaps needed to be a little bit more proactive, but they did come out, at least with Multikel, and I think that's probably the conversation they're having in chat right now. The thing that the Chargers need to watch out for, though, on the flip side, is they need to watch out for overconfidence, right? Because a lot of times that can really come back to bite, right? And yeah, okay, here we go. Moridin's on the May, Multikel's on the Ramatra. Now, granted, this isn't spawn, and like, you know, it's a lot of casters will tell you, you really don't want to talk about the attackers when they're in spawn, because they've got until the last moment before they swap, right? But I think we can trust that these picks are true. I think Moridin will be coming out on the May. I think we are going to have Multikel on the Ram. And I think that is going to cause a lot of problems, especially for Jihad. So I think the Genji, I'll be curious to see if that stays, you know, after having to deal with Moridin on the May. But Jihad looked very strong on the Genji, so we could, in fact, see that stick.
It looks like it
The
will.
interesting
He's
thing-
not in spawn, so he's probably going to, at least for this first fight, stick with it.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Bell coming out. It's going to be a Ram v Ram duel.
Nice shield there from Multikel.
Oh, cut off,
Big
Stoner.
wall.
Great wall, but he's got the heals he needs. We'll return. Vero
Got
getting
the
taken
heals,
very
but
low.
Yeah.
Was trying to get up, take some space, look for an early kill. Jihad getting quite low. Moridin takes down the Brigitte. That's huge. And now Kel taking space onto the point.
Another big wall.
Post has to finish off the rest of these kills, though. Capital Tech retreating nicely without falling. Skoder getting down to 1 HP. Finally, Jihad falls as well, and Post is going to capture the first point. Unless, maybe, they might be able to regroup in time. They're looking for a touch. Skoder's looking for a touch. He wants it. Gets booped off, though. And that was a great boop there by KingJackson, just stopping the touch. And Post will capture the first point just as fast as Capital Tech did.
That was absolutely fantastic. I mean, that was such a tough call for the Chargers to have to make there, right? Because if you are on defense here, one of the most brutal holds you can get if you lose first point is called arches, which is just that first spot right after the card comes out of the game. So they had the opportunity to try and post up defensively there. Probably was the right call, but they did have the opportunity to kind of push it, right? Because they did have the Brig back, they did have their Ramatra. Now we see a composition swap. We're going to see Orisa come out here, and that is going to make Moridin less effective.
First time Orisa for Skoder this series. But we do have Kitsune Rush online. Moridin gets an early pick once again on the Brigitte. And now the Kitsune Rush may finalize the rest of this fight. Yep, Multikel gets another one. Vero keeping her other support alive in the back line. Xery in the 1v1 duel against Vero. He gets pushed off with Moridin's help. And Post is rolling just as fast as Capital Tech was still, Juggle.
Yeah, they are. Exactly. I had a feeling we might see something like this happen. And I want to shout out Vero as well, because Vero is so deadly on the gear and go. Vero hits just disgusting headshots. And so I think Jihad was, recognized it and said, okay, yeah, no, we're not going to mess with that.
2 kills already for Post, and a lot of ultimates being committed to this fight, but 0.76 away from the checkpoint. And Post just staggering these members of Capital Tech right now as the payload will get to the point. And once again, 5.5 minutes on the clock for this final point.
Yeah, this is wild.
We may be in for a really long map right now, Juggle.
Yeah, I know, right?
Both teams having so much difficulty defending.
We're going to see round 10. Oh.
Right? Ooh, Xery getting very low. Gets the... Oh, no, never mind. Moridin sniped again. And this is going to give Kel the room to step up and take this space. Wall goes up as well.
They got the rally out.
Oh, Skoder with a kill on KingJackson. That's huge. Can Multikel turn this one around? Kabar getting very low. Gets the heals he needs. Multikel getting super... No!
Oh,
The server closed.
No. Oh, that's brutal. Oh God.
What?
I gotta take a minute.
Wait, what?
Oh no.
Did the does the whole map
Yeah, I'm sure
Wow.
we're gonna look at the rule book.
Oh
This
my
happened
God.
too. Yeah, as Multikel said in chat, I swear this is the 3rd time. I've cast a couple of those games. Yep.
Oh, that's awful.
No, that happened. God, when did that happen? I don't remember offhand. But yeah, this is not the first time. It's only King's Row. Yeah, I think that's just. I think it's like Multikel saying in chat. I think it's just a remake. I think they just have to remake lobby and go again.
Yeah. Wow. So we run it
you
back,
know.
Juggle.
We run it back. Oh my God.
That's crazy. I mean, honestly, if it's gonna happen, that was a pretty good spot for it to happen, all things considered. Like, the teams were very closely matched in terms of their push speed, and obviously it wasn't exactly even. Post still would have had to win 1, maybe 2 more fights. to get a similar time in the bank, but you know, so I guess slightly favored to post, but we did have a lot of momentum heading into that last kind of point, so
no, I agree with you. It wasn't like one team had a huge advantage over the other, you know, because I feel like that's when you feel the worst, you know, is when something like that happens.
Watch now, we remake, and we're gonna get 2 like perfect holds, and the defense is gonna be super strong now.
That's right. Yeah, we're just gonna see 4 minutes on each side. Just on first point. That'd be funny.
I knew we were gonna be in for a long one, Juggle. I didn't know we were gonna be in for 2 long ones on King's Row.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So yeah, we're gonna run it back, chat. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. I honestly don't even know what we would do if it happens again. I guess try changing the map, because apparently it's an issue with King's Row specifically. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Oh
Small indie company, right, guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's what it is. It's just like when it rains on the baseball field, right? Like, you know, both teams just gotta deal with it, and it is what it is.
Yep. You just go again.
Yeah.
You just move on. You run it back.
Good luck, have fun. Part 2, says Vero, says JoJo in chat.
Oh, that's so funny. So, you know, one thing I will say is I wonder if this might actually benefit Post a little bit, because, yeah, look at the composition they're running out with, right? I think they recognized that it was, you know, what they were trying to do wasn't working on their first defense. So I think it'll be really telling, though, you know, if we do see the Chargers kind of charge through like we saw them the first time, even if Post University swap their composition. But I honestly feel like we're going to see a better defensive hold here from Post.
Well, I think both teams are going to be better on the defensive end, because now they've had almost an entire round to see what the other teams do on offense. But crucially, I also want to point out KingJackson swapping to the Mizuki. This is not something that we have really seen too often from him. He usually has gone with his patented Lucio. He's kind of been our Lucio one trick for most of the season. But showing his versatility a little bit here on the Mizuki, so let's see if it works out.
Yeah, I think one thing that Mizuki does bring is it can stop a player in their tracks, right? And that could be a great way to stop Scoter from pushing forward, right? If Post University is having trouble kind of backing out, or they just don't want to get walked over, you can throw that little lasso on the ground and keep them at bay.
Yeah, we got a big brawl on the point though, with Jihad swapping to the Reaper as well. Wall goes up behind Scoter, blocking him off a little bit, but he's still got good sight lines to his supports. And all the shields just coming down. Jihad finally with the first kill onto KingJackson to start this one off. Let's see if Post can turn this one around. Doesn't look like it. Chewy gets one, but it may be too little too late. Kel trying to find the kill onto X3, but he's got the heals that he needs from his support. Now Moridin and Kel just trying to stall as long as they can on the point, but it will end up falling, I think, a little bit slower than we saw in the first one. But, yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but, like, honestly, I don't know if it was even a ton, right? Because what they gained in kind of just going to point and brawling it out, or the fact that it took them so long to brawl it out on point, they still, you know, they took a while to rotate around on that first one, so I feel like we're looking at pretty similar times. But the fight's breaking out now at Archase, and this is where Post University wants to try to hold if they absolutely can. Very hard to push through if you're on the attack.
This is a great wall angle for Moridin, though. He can block them off. Yeah, there it goes. Kitsune rush blocked off, but Moridin will fall. Chewy with the Emre ult available does decide to pop it here. Let's see how much value he can get. Does get one. Kel gets one as well. This is a very even fight. Kel does have the ultimate online, gets the Reaper as well as the Kiri, and Post will hold. A great team kill coming out for the Eagles there, Juggle.
That was huge, and very economical as well for Post University, right? Both Jihad and Lonsolo ended up using their ultimates, so now Post University is going to be rolling into this fight with 4 of them. Look for Multikel to probably use their Annihilation. I feel like in response. I feel like Multikel likes to use the Annihilation in response.
Soon a Annihilation combo. Boom, boom, boom. There's one. Support's cut off from Scoter, and he will fall as well.
What a wall.
Multikel knew exactly where Jihad was TPing there. He gets the kill. And then Post able to win that fight pretty handily, while also having the 3 ults in the bank. So This is going to be a very interesting next fight for Post.
Yeah, they just used Kitsune Rush there. Like that was absolutely massive. Also Moridin, I always love to call Moridin out. Moridin has just some rude walls. Just absolutely
Yeah.
rude.
Oh, here comes the ultimate from Moridin. Freezing up everyone. Skoder falls trying to find Chewy, but Chewy gets the last laugh in the end. And now Moridin on the point. Beat drop goes down, but the Reaper now cut off from his team. Has to Wraith form out. Annihilation goes down, or the pool rather. And Capital Tech gonna retreat. Without their tank, they don't want to commit any more resources, as Multikel has already charged up another Annihilation juggle.
Now, one thing that Moridin great there, right? Like we think about you know, Blizzard as an ultimate that just freezes people and get kills. But honestly, especially at higher levels, it's used a lot as a zoning ultimate. And that's exactly how we saw Select get there. They cut off scope.
Lots of ultimates coming down. Kel getting low will fall to Jihad. And Post crumbling now without their tank. KingJackson, the last left, will get one kill in response, but that was a very clean fight win for the Chargers.
It was. That was unfortunate for Multikel because it's like he turned right or left, he turned the wrong way, straight into a Reaper.
Yeah.
You know, and you know your Annihilation is strong, but it's not going to outdamage those Hellfire shotguns. Not any day of the week. Now, Post University might have to be winning this one off the back of Chewy again, right? Han Solo has his Kitsune Rush, and this is the perfect time for the Kitsune Rush as well, because you want it to use the charge ultimate if you can. Here it comes.
Oh, X-Ray already with a kill. Start this one off. Chewy does fall immediately after using the ult, and a lot of ultimates committed here by Capital Tech, but it's going to be another clean team kill, and they will get the second point with 3:10 on the clock. So overall, a little bit slower, but Capital Tech's still rolling right along, Juggle.
Yeah. No, they absolutely are. I will say, I think that was an overcommit from Jihad, and Post University should be happy about that, right? That fight was one before the Death Blossom came out. So now, Vero wants to use this, of course, as tight initiation tool. That's going to help Post University charge the rest of the board. There's certainly going to be an advantage for this fight.
Moridin almost has a Blizzard online. There it is. He decides to pop it. Here comes the Blizzard. Gonna separate X-Ray. It goes down, but it doesn't matter. The beat drop does not save X-Ray's life. Jihad gets one traded back onto KingJackson, though, and it's now a 4v4 on the point. Moridin dueling the Kiri in the back line. But he's now the last one left. And he goes into Snowman, but it's just a stall. So he will eventually fall. Yep, good stall, and that way give Post time to regroup here with the Kitsune Rush from Vero. They may have one, maybe two fights left in them here. There's Kitsune Rush right off the rip. And yeah, Capital Tech just gonna disengage off of that one. They just didn't even want to fight Post on their Kitsune Rush. And so that's gonna stall for some more time as we're now under 2 minutes. So Kitsune Rush did the job of pushing them off and stalling, which is what you want to do as the defensive team, but they didn't actually get any kills off of it.
No, they didn't. That was a really good game.
And now they have the counter Kitsune. But the Mizuki ult counters that, and now Multikel popping off, getting to Skoder cut off from his team for the wall. But Jihad trades one back onto Chewy. That's pretty big. Can Post turn this one around? Finally, the tank falls. Jihad falls soon after, and now we are approaching what could potentially be called final fight territory. Dare I say it, Juggle?
Yeah, it's going to be close, right? If the Chargers push this quickly, they could get 2 full fights in. But I think you're more than likely correct, especially because the card is pushed so far back. Multikel still holding onto this Annihilation. That's going to be huge here. They have to watch out for Jihad, though. Eyes have to be circling everywhere. They cannot let Jihad get in.
X-Ray going down to 1 health. Doesn't get the kill, but Moridin finally finishes him off. That's huge for Post. Oh, wall doesn't quite cut off, but Chewy getting one with the ultimate. And that's a clean team kill by Post. 33 seconds to go. They may have one more fight in them. Is there someone they're trying to stagger back there? Let's see.
I don't know. It seemed like
it looked like all of Post was turned around. I thought someone from Capital Tech was still back there, but no, it doesn't look like it.
All right.
Now we are for sure in final fight territory.
And one Take out Kamara first with that sound barrier. They've almost got it. Maxed out.
Ultimate comes out from Jihad. Chewy trades one back. X-Ray gets another, though. Overtime now ticking down. Moridin falls, and Post is going to have to regroup here. Chewy falls, though, and that's going to do it. Post unable to touch, but they had them pushed all the way to overtime, which could be a big deal if Post is able to match that push.
Right? Because like there's a little, you know, one of the finer points in just Overwatch, right, is the fact that if you are on an escort map, right, or if you are on a hybrid map, actually hybrid specifically, if you're in a hybrid map and one team captures in overtime and the other team captures with more than a minute, then the team that captured with more than a minute is the only one who gets to attack.
Right.
So that's what Post University is going to be gunning for here, right? They, you know, first off, they have to get the cap. Second off, they can get the cap with over 1 minute. Then the worst possible outcome for Post
is a
draw.
Right.
So that's got to be in, you know, that's got to be on their mind right now in chat and in spawn right now, right? Because they want this cap and they want it in under a minute. But ooh, X3 on the
Yeah, I just saw that on the Ashe.
On the Ashe, that could be problematic. That could be tough to deal with, right? And one thing in particular, right, is Bob, the ultimate. That is such a great tool to, you know, not only kind of like split the focus of a team if you can get the Bob to land behind the opposing team, but also just to stall out cart, right? And that's the name of the game, right? Doesn't matter how many kills you get, you just got to push the card far enough.
Yeah.
Bob can prevent that from happening.
Chewy versus X-Ray is really, I think, going to decide this map, as Chewy, he's going to find Jihad just up here waiting for the flank, and he finds him out. That's huge, and Moridin takes him down. Absolutely huge for Post, and now Multikel will use that as permission to push up onto the point in the 5v4. Although X3, whoa, getting taken down, and Moridin finishes him off. Incredible damage by Multikel's Ramatra from long range.
Yeah.
Bar trades one back, but I think it may be too little too late for this Chargers squad. Let's see if they're able to turn it around. They still have 4 strong here.
Yeah, Post University is getting these kills a little bit slowly. That's allowed the Reaper to get back, and that's a problem.
Hot getting very low. Oh, lands finally falls to Multikel. And Post still struggling to capture. They're getting the kills, but like you said, Juggle, it's very slow going. And finally, it's ticking over to Post. X3, the last one left up on the high ground. Oh, and Multikel says, no Wraith form for you, sir.
Oh my gosh.
And now Post doing a great job of staggering them, as they will capture the point. 5:07 on the clock to get through streets.
Yeah, both these teams are definitely putting up a better defense this time around. And, you know, absolutely better defense there. Now, Post University, I think what they're going to need to worry about is they want to make sure that X3 stays off of that high ground right in the front, right there. I think we can see Lucio shooting from there. So that's the point that Post University really needs to control. And it's going to be tough for them to do so because not many of them really have that verticality. It might be up to KingJackson to try and kind of keep X3 in check here. And yeah, we see the dynamite coming there from that high ground, but a wall does the trick too, actually. Big play there.
Yeah, nice wall from Moridin, keeping the team safe. Payload still getting pushed pretty steadily. Finally, Kitsune Rush goes down. Bob goes down as well. Double Kitsune. Once again, Vero gets the first kill of this match. Wow. Jihad trades one back. Multikel still in the front line, still going toe-to-toe with Scoter. Beat drop goes down from... Oh, but the huge Death Blossom from Jihad takes down the entire Post University team, and the payload will once again stall out. And like you said, Juggle, both teams doing much better on defense the second time around.
Yeah, they really are. And one thing I do think we need to highlight, though, is the fact that Post University, I think, has been slightly better this entire series with their own economy, right? And that's certainly the case here. I think both PTS having their ultimate is going to be big. That's probably going to be the deciding factor here. Post currently has the advantage.
Blizzard online for Moridin. Let's see if he decides to pop it. Just running at Skoder right now. Chewy gets a kill on X3. Moridin just holding left click right now. Finally takes down Skoder. Goes into snowman form.
Yeah, that Lucio flanking behind though with the mission, that could be problematic, but it stalls him out a little bit. This is interesting. The Chargers have done a good job, I think, of like finding creative ways to slow the card count. Right? You know, they're losing the fight, but they're still burning significant time off the clock, and I think they're probably going to get another cut here. And I think it's probably going to be a full fight too. And part of that is due to the fact that we did see the Lucio
or not.
Or not.
Or not. Or not. Caster curse. No, they want to hold this L choke point here.
Yeah.
Going up into this
That's
final
probably
point.
the wiser move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, X3!
Oh, especially considering they don't have ultimate.
Yeah, probably smart. Like you're right, Juggle. Oh, but we see the swap by Jihad to the Mei. Falls to Chewy though. As Mortis said, there ain't only room for one Mei on this map, Jihad. Still holding on to the Blizzard as well as the payload's still pushing. And they've got 2.5 minutes. There goes the Blizzard. That's going to split them up. Beat drop goes up to counter. And the Kitsune rush. Double Kitsune rush and the beat drop from Post as well. Annihilation still up pop by Multikel. Finally pops it. And Post may have the advantage at the end of this. 1 for 1. Jihad falls. Moridin can heal up. This is crazy. Oh, Skoder cut off from his team by another great wall from Moridin. But I don't know if they're going to be able to push it all the way. Yep, 4.16 in Multikel, the last one alive, and he's not on the point. But still 2 minutes for Post to, like you said, do it with over a minute left on the clock, which is the key break point here.
Yeah. Now that's crazy. Moridin used the Blizzard at the beginning of that fight. They're halfway to another one.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of time. Oh, big ultimate load from the top.
Chewy with the Emery ultimate doing a lot of damage, but no kills yet. Finally gets one there, but taken down very low and falls to X3. Multi-kill gets one though. 3v4. The bar falls. Gets another kill. Skoder very low. Post just cannot finalize these kills. Vero, now the last one left, has to retreat.
I think the big thing is they're having a hard time getting back to X3, right? X3 has held down both of these last few fights. Now Moridin has to have this Blizzard here, but I think it's really going to be up to Chewy and Moridin in particular to try and take out X3. Because without X3, I think these fights are won for Post University. Now they got to watch out for a Bastion jump. That's going to be a problem. That means that Multikel as well is going to have to think about playing a little bit more defensively too, right? Because he can't needle off a lot of that damage. Post University also has to make sure they play their cover. They can't get caught out with that big damage coming through.
Multikel needs to find enough damage here to get this next annihilation before this next fight, but that's not going to help. X3 gets the kill onto Vero to start this one off, and Post going to retreat here.
Yeah.
Wait for Vero to come back. Oh, X3?
Oh,
wasn't quite able to finalize that kill. Chewy getting taken very low as well, needs to get some heals. And Post doesn't look like they'll be able to get the 1 minute timer here. Wall goes up, Jihad on top of the wall. There goes the Blizzard. And Kitsune. Multikel pushing them back. Moridin gets one. Multikel another. Beat drop goes out, but it's a little late. Bob in the backline takes out KingJackson though. This Multikel falls to Jihad. No way. And now Post, definitely under a minute. They're gonna start thinking about, do we just lose this here? They gotta push it the rest of the way in 40 seconds. Or Capital Tech will go to match point.
Yeah, they will be able to get a full fight. You just gotta go to the Bastion. They say, forget about the ultimate. Big thing is, you gotta watch out for Skoders, right? That is huge to have in this last fight. Skoders absolutely gonna be trying to build this annihilation, and that could be the final nail in the coffin if they allow Skoder to stay alive long enough.
Yep. Oh, big damage onto Jihad. It's a 1 for 1. Oh, Kabar very low and falls. X3 in the backline takes down Moridin. Chewy popping off on the Bastion though. Multikel and Chewy, the heroes. Can they do it? Goater very low. There's the annihilation though, and that may do it. That may seal the deal. Post trying to get back. Chewy gets one. He's healing up. I don't even know what's happening right now. Bastion ult coming out from the side from Jihad. Can't get to him. He's stuck in the room. X-Ray gets Vero. Chewy gets one back. It's so close right now. Oh, Kel falls. That's huge. Chewy on the Bastion. There's nobody left for Capital Tech. Kabar just trying to stall.
Stalling, and they're doing a good job of it.
Uh-oh. Will they come back in time? Oh no, Bob is back! They stalled too long. Great Blizzard though to block the Bob, but Chewy is so low. Still staying alive. Oh my god. Chewy, such a hero play, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Kel has returned to the point though. And there's the beat drop. Can they do it? Oh my god, Moridin with 2 kills. What an incredibly close fight. X3 gets one, Moridin with another. Kitsune rushes on the point. Oh my god, that may do it, Juggle. There's still a Tracer and a Lucio on the point. Finally, the Lucio falls.
Oh, what a stick.
Fell stuck. Oh my god, they did it. Holy crap. That was insane. I can't believe Kel had time to get all the way back. What a hero play from Chewy on the Bastion. He survived so long, and it's going to be a clean 1 minute to 1 minute here in round 2.
That was insane. That was phenomenal. I mean, both of these teams are playing at their absolute peak right now, and this has just been incredible to watch. I'm loving this match. This is just good Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
right here between two very good teams. And
this does not feel like the 12 versus the 4. This feels like the know the 4 versus 5 or the these teams are very closely matched.
Yeah, the Chargers certainly not looking like a 12 team. Like that is 100% the case. And I mean, Chewy with that swap to the Bastion at the end was huge, right? Because of the self-heal.
Yeah.
I mean, that, without Chewy making that swap there at the last minute, Coast University doesn't win that. And especially considering how well he was able to just dance around the cart and stay alive.
Yeah.
That was just tremendous. I mean, Post University was fighting an uphill battle that entire final fight.
Yeah.
And they still found a way to come out with that fight win. So
such incredible resilience, honestly, from both teams too, especially after having to replay the map. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen again. But here we go. Yeah, don't. I'm jinxing it, I know. Lots of damage coming out here. Oh, Chewy gets the first kill, but Multikel falls.
Ooh, that's rough. That's
not good for Post. Yeah. Moridin goes into Snowball form. Post is trying to stall here and to wait for Multikel to get back. Will they contest this, though? Yeah, I think they're just going to leave it.
I think they're going to leave it. Post University had a great hold here, right? I think that's what they're going to be looking for in this fight. This is probably going to be won or lost in the neutral as well, though. So, I think Post University really has to watch out for the water call, right? Because if they let Chargers through here, the rest of Streams really favors the attacker.
Yeah. Chewy holding the line down on the Bastion. Killed by Moridin onto Kabar. X-Ray in the back line. They've got to take him out. Gets the Wraith from just in time. And gets out to his team through the wall. We are in overtime now, so Capital Tech can't get off the point.
Oh, that's big.
Annihilation. Bastion ultimate. Just going to throw it right down onto the point. Moridin with a kill. This may hold them right here. Let's see if they can do it. Multikel popping the ult as well. 2 more kills for
big.
Post. They just have to deal with the Ramatra, and there it is. A pretty good hold for Post University here in round 3.
Yeah.
Score 3 to 4.
I feel like you can just see the focus from both of these teams.
Yeah.
Right? And you can see it like they are both also playing hyper aggressively, but they're not overextending, right? They're not they're playing hyper aggressively, but they're doing it in a very intelligent way.
Yeah.
Right? That's it, like they're just elevating each other as teams, frankly, right? They're forcing each other to just play to the next level over and over and over again. So Post University gonna have to look for that opening pick here, right?
Oh, look at that. Right as you say that. Chewy on the Widowmaker. Yeah. That'll do
That's
it.
one way to do it.
That's what.
right?
That is one way to do it for sure. I don't know
is
if he's
one
just
way to
looking
do it.
for info or if he's actually gonna stick with the Widow here. But yeah, that could be interesting.
It's a pretty classic thing to just take 1 or 2 shots, right?
Yeah,
And then
just
swap,
see
and I
if you
imagine
find-
that's probably what we're gonna see Chewy do here.
Yeah.
Is, you know, see if you get that early pick, and if you do, great.
I don't
And even
own
if you do, you probably still swap, right? Because you're gonna want to try and draw it out on point.
He's probably swapping right now.
So, oh, he actually might be swapping. Right now.
Yep, there it is.
That's absolutely what it is. Ooh, going for the big guns. X3 though, back on the act. That's gonna be the big question mark here.
Yeah, Post has to get to X3 in the back line.
Yeah. Yeah, do they neutralize that Ash or not? Oh, that's a good wall.
Yeah, Jihad sticking with the Mei. Ooh, X3 gets Chewy, who swapped to the Pharah. That's pretty
Swap to the
big.
Pharah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're probably gonna see Post back out here, but oh, what a wall. That's unfortunate.
Moridin goes.
They might be okay here.
Yeah, he's fine. He's a Mei.
Yeah, Chewy back on the bastion. I think that's the right call here.
Moridin with a kill.
Huge! That's it. That's X3 down. That's what Post University needed.
Jihad getting very low. He's forced to go into block. Now Kel onto the back line. The Lucio is down. Akiri is down. Oh, no supports. Yep, and now they're going to be able to capture the point. We will be getting straight into overtime, though, as they had just the same amount of time that Capital Tech, and they just have to make it past 34.5.
Actually, no, they're gonna be able to regroup here. They're gonna be able to regroup and put up this defense because it takes so long for the cart to get out of the garage.
Yeah.
The fire truck just does not move fast.
Yeah, we are already in overtime, so Post cannot lose any more team fights, or it's over.
So they cannot. The Blizzard is online though. That's huge.
Good
X3's
wall.
on that high ground, but he's second.
Blizzard coming out. Walled off. Scoter is frozen and he dies! Vero with the kill! Now Post just can't C9. Chewy with another one, and there it is! Oh my lord! JuggleGod, what an incredible match! Post wins it 5-4 on King's Row. Holy. Scoter with the play of the game. Oh
That's a
yeah.
map for the ages right there.
That was... You can tell how much both of these teams want this, right? Like, that was such an incredible performance from literally all 10 players. Like, I could not point to a single player that was just like, oh, they didn't do, you know, a good job there or whatever. No, like, every single player in that lobby was holding it down and doing their job. That was incredible to see, Juggle.
It really was. And, you know, I gotta say, we talked about this at the top of the show, right? That, you know, sometimes a little extra time off can be a little rough. Chargers, no, that didn't affect them.
No, they're fine.
Doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're firing right now. X3 specifically on DPS has really stood out to me as a big threat for Capital Tech. Very similar to Chewy for Post, has always been holding it down for us on the hit scan, and also the Pharah as well. That was because that was basically 2 maps.
Yeah, it really was. Oh my gosh, it really was.
Yeah.
So,
I'm actually gonna get some water myself because I am out. So yeah, let's all stay hydrated now. We'll be back with map 4 in just a moment. Post up 2-1, and one more map away from the semifinals. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to ECAC Overwatch Quarterfinals Post versus Capital Tech. If you're just joining us, welcome in. I'm here with JuggleGod tonight, and it has been a banger so far. You definitely want to go watch the VOD if you missed the first two maps, or first three maps rather. Just insane stuff coming out from both teams so far. Feels
like first four maps, really. Honestly.
Yeah. Yes, we had the remake. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So, we are loading into Watchpoint Gibraltar right now. For map 4, Post up 2-1. Now on match point. If they're able to win here, Post will punch their ticket to the semifinals in Division B of the ECAC. We got some interesting picks coming out so far. KingJackson sticking with the Mizuki, and Moridin swapping to the Torbjorn, which we have not seen so far in this entire series.
We haven't, and I think that's, we're looking at, is there going to be the threat of a flyer, right? Because the turrets can really kind of check that in a big way. So I think it's a solid choice here. Moving into this, we saw that the ban was onto D.Va. And I think, that's D.Va's strong. Multikel's good at D.Va, but I feel like Multikel's also got a crazy good win. I feel like that ban not going to be super impactful for Post University, or at least against Post University here.
Yeah, I think this Torbjorn will do a good job into the Monkey as well. We'll see, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Post just keeping this high ground.
Yeah.
Finally dropping down. Multikel dueling the Monkey on the point, needs to get healed up. Wow, great kills though from both squads. It's a 4v4 now, as Scoter and King both fall.
That's a pretty even trade, like, honestly, all things considered, I feel like the characters aren't going to really move forward without their
chewy
big pick.
Chewy on the Emery. I was not expecting this. We've seen him on the Vendetta, we've seen him on the Vero, but we have not really seen him on the Emery too much this season, and he is lighting it up right now on one of his
he really
champions.
I feel like we saw him briefly on Leacock Tower, I believe, and nice dive on Chewy though. That's definitely going to cause those two to scramble a little bit, but it doesn't look like it matters.
Yeah, Multikel says, no thanks. Takes out Jihad, who is diving in on the Vendetta. And Post doing a great job holding on. Chewy already has the ultimate online as well.
This is interesting, too, because I feel like we're seeing a different JQ coming out of Multikel right now. A very patient jumper queen, right? It's very much a...
great shots from Chewy again.
Good lord. Yeah.
Chewy is unstoppable right now on the Emre. Moridin gets another one, and Chewy knows he doesn't even need the ultimate now. He can just chase them off the point, and this is a great first hold here for Post.
I cannot tell you how many times a game has been won or lost at this corner for me on Gibraltar, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is a corner that can just be tremendously hard to push through, right? And if both teams are really firing on all cylinders as far as defense is concerned, like, this just might be as far as you get, and I feel like we're seeing that.
Yeah, a little under 2 minutes now. Extra
Zarya
gets the bubble. Popping that ultimate, falls though from Multikel and Chewy's damage. That is so big. Scoter swapping to the Zarya. You get the sense that Capital Tech is maybe scrambling a little bit already on this map.
Maybe, but I do also like to see early swaps, right? I think that's also the kind of like a smart team. Oh, big found barrier.
Yeah, great B drop coming out from Kabar. Will it be enough though? Lava Floor also comes out from Moridin to get them off the point, or off the cart rather. And that was very interesting, kind of like a disengage from both teams there, Juggle.
Yeah, they both just kind of backed off. Nobody, I don't think there were hardly any picks. Were there any picks?
I don't think anyone died. Yeah, I think they just went in and shot each other and then went out. But Chewy falls, his first death of the map. That could be huge. King throws up the ultimate as well from Mizuki. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though.
Big pick.
Post doing a great job fighting around the Mizuki ult. Multikel doing lots of work on this Junker King, trying to build up that ultimate. Almost has it. Pushing the Zarya off the point. Now less than 30 seconds. This is huge for Post.
Yeah, this is absolutely massive. Multikel holding on to that ultimate. They're probably going to wait to see if they can get the lens out of the way. They kick on the King. They might not be able to hold it anymore.
Nice kill onto the
Massive.
Kiri, and Moridin gets another one. This is so big for Post. The Zarya now has no heals and will fall on the point. Kabar falls soon after, and boom, just like that. A clean hold from your Post University Eagles on Gibraltar.
That was massive, and I feel like I want to circle back to Moridin on the
Torbjorn.
On the Torbjorn,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like we saw a few things there, right? You were absolutely right. I feel like it really kept the Winston in check because as soon as he popped that, I forget what it's called, but like overdrive, I think.
Yeah.
Possibly for Torb, right? He's become such a menace, such a threat to tanks, right? And I think we certainly saw that come to fruition for Skoder. And then in addition, towards the end there, we did see Jihad go over to the Genji, but the Genji was also being checked by Moridin because that turret, right? The turret is just anti-dive.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest
Right?
with you, Juggle. I didn't even realize he swapped to the Genji, so good comms. W comms from you, sir. I did not even realize that. Yeah, so it's Capital Tech needs to pull off one of the best holds of all of their careers at this point in order to keep their tournament playoff ECAC hopes alive, as Post only has to push it 74.88 meters to go to finals, or excuse me, semifinals. I'm getting ahead of myself. Semifinal. We're in quarterfinals right now. If they push it 74.88 meters, they'll be going to the semifinals. Will be the furthest that we've ever gotten in an ECAC Overwatch tournament.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
They will be
No, I remember
breaking
last season,
Post
y'all
University esports history tonight if they're able to finalize this push right here.
That's fantastic. Moridin on the Echo.
Yeah, they're
This should
pulling
be
out all the
exciting.
stops here. Multikel on the Monkey. This is something that
Makes sense.
we have not shown this Capital Tech team yet.
No, now he's definitely going to need to watch out for the rock coming out from the wind. Big dive onto that high ground.
1 for 1 so far. Oh, but a punch to the face from Multikel. Skoder getting some good heals from his supports, but will eventually fall. And that's a pretty clean team kill. Or excuse me, not a team kill. Team fight win for Post. Vero does fall, but Multikel jumping in front of Jihad, and that's a great stagger.
Huge. That's huge.
Oh, and are they going to
That
get
might
the
be it.
Kiri as
That
well?
might be
They
it.
will. That could be it, Juggle. Just like that. After a
Yeah, they are
marathon
gonna get
King's
touched,
Row, are we
but-
about to have a 2-minute Gibraltar? Hello?
Maybe they won't. Maybe they won't get the touch. Big dive
Point
flash.
6, they touch. Somehow, some way, they make it happen. But Moridin gets the kill. Skoder will fall soon after. Point 2-3, Juggle, and there it is. Post University is going to the semifinals in the ECAC, winning 3-1 over Capital Tech. GG's.
I got chills there at the end. Oh, huge plays. Oh, yeah, Moridin.
Yeah,
What a
Moridin.
What a pick. What a pick.
Moridin.
Let's see what they found here. Yeah, there's the Genji.
Oh, he shut down the blade. That was massive.
Yep.
They might have been able to
Yep.
push up on the checkpoint if that had gone through.
They might have been
Great
able
games.
to. Yeah, that could have been.
GG.
That could
Well
have been something
played.
big.
Holy
Wow.
cow. What a series, Juggle God. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Post wins at 3-1. And we'll face, let's actually take a look at the bracket here. This is not
Oh,
the
yeah, do we
updated
have
one, of
updates?
course. I
have
haven't
updates?
looked yet, but we will face the winner of UHeart versus Stockton. Let me take a look and see if anything has
Stockton's a
been
good squad.
updated. Yeah, we faced them earlier in the season and defeated
did.
them, but oh,
trying to remember
that's
what the score
very
was.
interesting. UHeart is input as the winner, but it's input as Stockton has won 3-1. So, Rally
Sounds like
Cry,
somebody just got the scores backwards.
Rally
maybe.
Cry having some issues tonight, in terms of in the game in Overwatch, right, having to replay King's Row, but then also in the bracket, right? So I believe this happened to us in college football last night as well. I believe that means that UHeart won and the scores just got flipped. So I think that means that UHeart won 3-1. So we'll probably be facing University of Hartford next week. A nice Connecticut grudge battle next week.
I
Juggle.
know, right? I was thinking about that. Yeah. And you all haven't faced. We haven't faced UHeart. So that'll also be interesting. I'm correct in that, right? At least not this season.
Yeah, I don't think we faced them this season yet, so that's going to be one heck of a match. If you thought tonight was
they are the number
exciting,
one seed.
just wait till next week when we face Hartford
Yeah.
in the semifinals. That match is going to be just a string
I
of fire
can't
emojis.
I can't wait. Yeah, it will be. Fire and Ghost. We need to get the Ghost back out.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I am going to. I'm asking. Hopefully, we'll have an interview with Moridin here in a couple
fantastic.
minutes. So we'll see if that happens. But we don't have any more matches going on. He doesn't want to do it. So, but King said he can do it. He wants to.
Fantastic.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good. We'll interview King. So we've got an interview with KingJackson coming up in a few minutes. So don't go anywhere. All right, hello everyone. We are back with KingJackson on the line with us to talk about that quarterfinal win versus Capital Tech. How's it going, King? What a banger of a match, huh?
Yeah, it was very sweaty.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight. I think adrenaline is gonna be pulsing through my veins, and I was
Yeah,
sleeping
it
at the
was.
match.
Yeah, it was a wild one, man. It was a very wild one.
Yeah, so I think the first question I want to ask is just it's centered around King's Row because I mean, first off, he played it twice, and second,
Right.
that was some of the most like focused, no holds bar, just insane, very aggressive fighting. I feel like I've seen in a long time. Like neither one of the teams wanted to let go. I feel like there were 3 fights like that, right? The one at the very end when you all finally pushed and got that cap on third point, and then both fights on after that cap as well. So, what do you feel like was the difference maker there for you and your squad? You know, what gave you just that sliver of an edge that you feel like gave you that win?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I think the,
That's
it
fair.
was Chewy and Kel last on the point trying to push it, and
Yeah.
I can put my faith in those hands any day of the week, and 9 times out of 10 they're gonna win that fight.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it
That
was
was
just
crazy.
we had the right people. We had the right people on point.
I,
Honestly,
I think the swap to Bastion too by Chewy was huge. I think
That was
he
big.
realized that he wasn't getting as much value, and then went in with the swap. I also want to talk about you towards the end of the series, especially on Gibraltar, swapping to the Mizuki. You've pretty much been our Lucio boy for all season, but since swapping to the Mizuki, you're showing a little bit of your
well,
versatility there. So was that something you've been practicing for a long time, or did you just bring that out kind of last minute?
I mean, Mizuki's always gonna be in the bag because he's a fun character to play.
Mm-hmm.
But on Kings Row, the defensive side, it's hard for me to play Lucio on defense
Mm.
because I don't know all the what I need to do exactly. It's a lot easier on attack than on defense on Lucio. So when we had the remake, I was like, I'm just gonna switch to Mizuki and try to stable as much as I can,
Yeah.
and it was working fine. So I just decided to bring that back on Gibraltar.
Yeah, no, that was a great pick. And I think both teams made some really good adaptations in Kings Row after the remake. Since, both teams were just plowing through on the offensive side in the initial
Yeah.
map before the remake,
Jeez.
and then both teams did a really good job of adjusting their defensive side. So I'll pass it back over to Juggle for the next question.
So, want to jump over to Surabasa, right? Because I feel like that was such a big turning point in the entire series, right?
Yeah.
Because the Chargers came out and they were just, Denny and I were talking about this, even, before the match, pondering like, okay, maybe this is like a comfort pick for the Chargers, right? Because this is still a brawl map, and you all had just one Lijiang Tower, right? And so I was like,
Yeah.
they know this map, right? Like I think that's what's going on, and I feel like that really showed in those first 2 points, right? You all
hmm
did eventually go on and lose that, but I feel like the momentum really swung towards you all in in the back half of that. So, what was the adjustment that you all made there during that map to kind of come
Um.
back there, and did that carry over to Kings Row as well, or through the rest of the series?
Yeah, for sure. So to begin with, we did our little, was it a 2-1-2 split, where me and our Reaper
Mm,
were like kind
yeah,
of go off ourselves,
I
but we
did
were
see
getting
that a
countered
couple
pretty
times. Yeah,
hard. We're getting countered pretty hard, so we just decided to play front to back,
right.
and that found very good success. And then Chogo was like, okay, from now on, we're just gonna brawl it out because we were finding success in that instead of just splitting off and doing what we usually do.
Yeah, no,
That
that
makes
makes
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
sense.
sense.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
really
that
looked
was
effective.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that was. Do you have any more questions for King, Juggle?
Yeah, one more. Let me see if I can remember because it just escaped my brain. Um, um,
I also
oh,
just want to
actually,
point. Oh, you thought of it. Go ahead.
yeah, X3. How did you all end up finally neutralizing X3 as a threat? Because I feel like X3 was just a thorn in the side for your squad.
Was that the Ash
Yes.
Yep,
the Ash? Okay,
Yep.
yep,
so we banned Soj, so we didn't really have
Mm-hmm.
to deal with the
right,
disruptor shots and stuff like that, which made it
yeah.
easier. But then they came out of Ash and then started picking some heads off me, mine particularly. Um,
Yep, that's just
Stu was doing an awesome job putting up walls, so we could
Mm.
kind of like not focus on it and stuff like that.
Stu is Moridin,
But
for those of you in the chat.
yeah, yeah, it's more riding.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. We didn't
mhm,
really target her or anything like that. We just continued trying to play front to back and blow up the tank, pretty much.
perfect.
Well, thank you
Yeah, back
so
to you,
much
Denny.
for taking the time out to interview with us, King. Before we go, I just want to also shout out the entire team. We had
Facts.
one
Yeah.
record tied and
Like
2
three
records
records. Yeah,
broken
it was
tonight.
insane. Vero
Kel
was
tied.
insane. Kel was insane.
Kel tied his own record for most eliminations in one map with
Oh my
54.
god.
Yeah.
Kel absolutely obliterated his own damage record, which was previously 25,590. He did 32,995
Yeah.
damage on primarily Ramatra on King's Row, the second
Wow.
King's Row, so that will count
Wow.
as the record. And also, the healing record, which was previously 24,565 by Vero on Kiriko, now 26,711 also by Vero, also on Kiriko.
insane work.
That's an
They're-
insane healing number.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
it is.
Yeah.
I looked at my number and I was like at 20K, and I seen Vero like 25. I was like, I'm just not gonna catch up.
Yeah, no, you ended with almost 24K, which would have
What in
been
the
only
world?
500 off of the previous record, King, if it wasn't for Vero
Yeah.
setting a new bar even higher in that
Yeah,
map.
thanks
So,
Vero for making my job harder. Appreciate it.
That's
but yeah,
wild.
thank you
That's
again
wild.
so much for hanging out with us at the end, King. Congratulations once again. GG's to the entire team. We will see you guys all next week right here at 8 o'clock for the semifinals versus University of Hartford. That's going to do it for us tonight, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great night.